welcome back to Twin Cities Live. When it comes to home ownership, conventional wisdom would be that empty nesters need smaller houses, right? And then new families should always move to the suburbs to get a bigger place.
Okay, but what if the exact opposite were true? Here to help you decide if you should downsize or upsize your home, we welcome back Julie and Daniel DeRoche from DeRoche Realty Group and EXP Realty. Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Oh.
Nice to see you.
All right, so this time of year, a good time to assess your housing needs if you're thinking about maybe transitioning up or down.
Yep, we'll get busy in the spring, so right now is the time to figure it out. And a lot of people just don't take the time to figure it out in advance.
So what do you need to do? You need to really assess how you live and how you want to live.
Yep, so I would definitely suggest meeting with a good realtor that you trust and really going over what it is you use in your house right now, what do you need out of a new house, talking about different scenarios. People just jump to, like if you do think you need to downgrade, you just think, I need to downgrade.
Downsize.
Downsize,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Downgrade.
Yeah, well,
That's what I would call it.
But what if you still have the family coming over for, big functions? What if you still need a large kitchen, a large dining area?
Yeah, and getting a realtor in on that conversation too, because I don't know if you guys have experienced this, if you happen to live with somebody or maybe you're married. You two dopes just spinning around in circles with the same arguments.
Oh my
It's like, all right, we need an outside perspective here. So how about this? We will present a few different scenarios, and then you guys give us your expert real estate advice. For the empty nester who thinks, okay, I need a smaller house, what are the mental things that they should really walk through before they automatically get a smaller home? Well,
like Julie was just saying, are you going to have kids and grandkids coming over? Because maybe you don't want a smaller home, maybe you just want a different layout. So instead of like a four-bedroom, bigger kitchen to entertain more, bigger dining space with more kids, grandkids. Maybe just a main floor master instead of 4 bedrooms up, but maybe you still want 2 or 3 guest bedrooms for all the kids and grandkids to come over and stay.
Right, but maybe you're okay with having those bedrooms in the lower level or something like that. You don't need to necessarily have 4 upstairs right in a row like you like when you have little kids.
Exactly. Well, they're gonna want to stay over, and you don't necessarily want them in your space. They're your kids, and they're old enough to go wherever they want to be, and they're with their babies, their grandkids, or their kids, your grandkids. It just makes more sense to look at different layouts, not necessarily bigger or smaller. Sometimes it's the same square footage. And a lot of people think it's going to be a significant savings, like we're downsizing, we're going to save some money. The opposite is true right now. We're seeing, because there's a need for more of that empty nester product. So it's actually a little more expensive usually because there's not as many of them so close in. You're having to go a little further out, which people don't necessarily want.
Plus the market's still so hot. I mean, it's still really high. It's expensive to buy.
It is, especially for something that there's not as many of.
Yeah, that's the truth. As I recently found out. Okay, if you're talking about a growing family, I mean, this was our situation when we were in a smaller house and we were like bursting at the seams. Instead of moving to the suburbs, you might want to make a couple of other decisions. You could think about doing something else.
Yeah, you have to really assess your lifestyle. So what we do with people is we sit down and talk about, okay, maybe they think that they want to move out to the suburbs, but maybe they want to still be able to walk to coffee shops and walk to parks and be close to stuff. And maybe the opposite's true. Maybe they think that they need to stay in the city and that they just want that city lifestyle, but then they have a couple kids and they realize that they don't go out as much, they spend more time at home, and they'd rather invest in their home. But either way, we've found a lot of solutions for people, and maybe it's adding on. So maybe they do want to stay where they're at, but maybe putting an addition onto their house.
Look at this fabulous example. My goodness.
That's a good addition.
Woo! Build that puppy up. Yeah.
So it was a Rambler, and they went up to a second story, and that's definitely doable if the market can take it in that area.
Now, I'm curious why you would say that it's this is a good decision to work a realtor into the conversation, because usually if you're doing an addition, you're thinking of putting down roots, staying here for the next 5, 10, 20 years. But why have a realtor in that conversation, Daniel?
Well, the realtor can help you assess if it's a good financial decision for the future. A lot of people assume realtors just want to help you buy and sell so they collect their check, which is true for a lot of realtors. But if you have a really good relationship with a realtor, it's a long-term relationship. We would really rather just help people stay in their home. We don't need to get paid every time somebody calls us over to their house. If we can just give them advice that helps them live a happier life, we're more than happy to do that. And then whether it's 5 years or 10 years or 15 years down the road, now we need to make sure that it was a good decision when they did it. But even that, you have to be careful. Like, if you, let's just say it's a $100,000 addition, it might put you out of the price range of the neighborhood.
Right.
But if it gives you 15 years of happiness in your house, it could still be worth it.
Because moving is expensive, folks.
Oh,
just
God,
newsflash.
Again, hurt people. She found this out. All right, I got one more scenario to throw by you guys. Older parents moving in. This is a trend that seems to be growing, and maybe the thought is, goodness, we got to double the size of our house, but here again, maybe some new options.
Yeah, obviously the population's getting older, and I think it's a cool way to pool your money together.
Yeah.
So you can get maybe a nicer house than you could have ever bought without your parents going in on it with you. And then your parents are right there as they're aging, so maybe you don't have to put them in assisted living. They want their own space, but you're able to kind of check in on them. Or maybe they go down to Florida for half the year, and having them live with you makes more sense.
So how creative are people getting about this? I mean, because, you know, like we have a garage that needs to be redone, and I think eventually we'd like space above that so that we could have people, you know, our parents or whatever live there. Mom and Dad, you're welcome to come anytime. Are there other ways that you can do that, where you can have separate space built into your house?
Definitely, like a lot of, even like the big builders, like this floor plan right now is a Lennar floor plan that was just on the screen.
Yeah.
They have it set up where the in-laws have their own garage, so they have their own little entry,
Oh my
their own
gosh.
garage.
That's good.
Their own complete space, so they feel independent still.
But you still have that connection and right there, and then also financially, boy, that has to make a lot of sense.
2 incomes in one house, and like Julie said, you get to look after each other. Sometimes they're helping with your children, and you're helping with them. It's a win-win for a lot of people.
How fun to say to Mom and Dad first of the month, hey, rent's due. I need that rent check.
Listen, if Susie wants to move in, she knows there's an open door
I'm
policy.
sure.
Come
Guys,
on in.
Thank you so much.
Thank
If you are
you.
interested in upsizing, downsizing.
Tom can come too, by the way.
Yeah, everybody, the whole unit gets to come. Or maybe just fixing up your existing home. Julie and Daniel would love to help you out. Head to TwinCitiesLive.com for a link to the DeRoche Realty Group with eXp Realty.
A big thanks to DeRoche Realty Group for sponsoring Twin Cities Live.
I've only said it a few times, so
I
still
didn't
get
anticipate
nervous
that stumble
when
because I
say
think
it.
you're a professional.
Well, I appreciate that, my lady.
Well, you're
This is a waste
welcome.
of time.